Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Krista, and for today's class, I'm going to guide you through a stretch and unwind. So this is perfect to do at the end of your day if your body's feeling very tired, very sluggish, and you just feel like you need a little bit of movement to relax those muscles and settle in for your evening and for your night. So for today's class, you will need either a pillow or a cushion. I have here just a blanket, and it's just to put underneath your knees at any point in case they get a little bit sensitive. So for today's class, let's start on our back. So come to lay all the way onto your back. Bring the soles of the feet together and allow your knees to fall open. Now, you can have your heels close to your pelvis, or you can have them away from your pelvis. You can feel what feels better in your body. For me, it feels better to have them closer to my pelvis. And wherever you are, you can also play with making a fist with your hands and just bringing them underneath the thighs, and that just might add a little bit extra support if it's very uncomfortable for your hips to be open and in case there's a little bit of pinchiness. If not, you can take your arms out into a cactus, just bending the elbows, the arms overhead. And wherever you are, just close down your eyes and feel your back body settle in deeper into your mat. And really just meet yourself right here. Doing a body scan and noticing any tension or achiness that's lingering in your body. Notice how your heart space feels. Does it feel heavy or open? Notice what's happening in your mind. Is there a lot of conversation happening between your ears? And then with every inhale breath and with every exhale breath, can you pull your attention into that anchor that is your breath? Can you feel every muscle in your body start to let go? Finding this lengthening happening in through the sides of your neck. Unclench the hinges of your jaw. And just relax the eyes deep into their sockets. And we'll just take a deep breath in through the nose, fill up the belly, fill up the lungs. And then with a big exhale, let it all go. Beautiful. Just start to wiggle the fingers and the toes and roll the back of your head against the floor. Now bring your hands to the outsides of your thighs, and using the strength of your arms, close your legs up like a book. And then one at a time, extend the legs long on your mat. Really stretch through the toes, start to take your arms overhead, stretch your fingertips towards the top of your mat, full body stretch. Really find that deep inhale breath and maybe hold at the top, clenching every muscle in your body. And then on the exhale breath, release and just allow everything to be relaxed. Start to hug the knees in towards your chest. And just take a moment to roll over your low back. And then bring your arms into a T. So coming in line with the shoulders or bend at the elbows. And then take your knees over and down towards the right, coming into a twist. Your nose can stay pointed up towards the ceiling, Or maybe play with taking your nose over towards the left side. Stay here for one deep breath in and one deep breath out. And slowly come back through center, and we'll switch sides, lowering your knees down towards the left side. And again, nose can stay exactly where it is, or point your nose over towards the right. And just follow your breath in and out through the nose. And then lift your legs back through center. Give yourself one last hug. Feel that compression between belly and thigh, and then raise one arm overhead. It can be the left or the right. And just come to roll over onto that side. We're going to find a child's pose. So bring the big toes to touch and then start to sink your hips down towards the heels. Try and find a little bit more of a wider child's pose with the knees. And then walk your hands forward towards the top of your mat and then start to sink your chest down towards the floor. Maybe your forehead rests on the floor. Send a few breaths into the back body, into the low back. And just keep your arms really active, pressing the pads of every fingertip into the floor while remaining soft across the hips. So really finding this place of effort and ease in the body. And then gently start to lift your head up slightly. Walk your hands just an inch or so over towards the right side of your mat. And with your left hand, start to thread it across the chest into that little space that you created. And then come to lay onto the left ear and the left shoulder. Gently push your right hand into the floor just to free up that left arm. And then just gently walk your hands over towards the left side. This time take your right arm and slide it underneath, coming to rest onto that right ear and the right shoulder. Push your left hand into the floor just to free up that right hand or that right arm. And then come forward into a tabletop. Stacking your hips over your knees, your shoulders over your wrists. And we'll move through some cat-cows, waking up through the spine. So on your inhale breath, start to lift the tailbone up. Allow your belly to drop down towards the floor. And then allow your chest and head to look up. And then exhale, tuck your tail between the legs, hollow out through your low belly, and push the floor away from you to puff up your upper back. Inhale for your cow pose. Tailbone, chest will lift up. And then exhale for your cat pose, really rounding through your spine. And you can stay here doing exactly this. If you want to find a little bit more organic movement in through your cat-cow, maybe you start to laterally flex your spine, so swaying your hips from side to side, bringing your shoulders from side to side, at the same time still finding that cat-cow motion. So you might make circles, you might do a little dance, getting to all the crevices of the body, really finding that organic movement, that organic flow. Maybe rolling your head if that feels okay for you. And then bring your spine back to neutral. We'll come to find a downward facing dog. So tucking your toes, sending your hips back. Pedal out the feet. Maybe sway your hips. Just taking any intuitive movements that feel good right here. Now start to walk your feet up towards your hands, coming into a forward fold. And keep a generous bend into your knees if you need to, especially if you've been sitting all day. Your hamstrings, the backs of your legs might feel really tight. An option to just let your arms dangle or clasp the elbows. Allow your head to be heavy. Release the elbows if you have it, and then heel toe your feet about mat width apart. And then from here, we're gonna move through some revolved forward folds. So on your inhale breath, start to bend the left knee, straighten through the right, and then twist towards the right, maybe taking your right arm up towards the sky. And then exhale, right arm down. Now start to shift your weight into that right foot, bend that right leg, straighten through the left, revolve, open up towards the left side. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, let's open up to the right. And exhale, let's open it up to the left. Beautiful. Come back through center. And with a big step back, let's take our left leg all the way to the back of your mat. Bring the back knee down. Hands stay to the inside of your right foot. Just adjust the feet if you need to. We're just finding a nice lizard lunge, opening up through the hips. Really feel your pelvis drop down towards the floor. Keeping that left knee squeezing in towards the shoulder. Big toe presses into the floor. An option to stay on your hands if you feel like lowering down a little further. Please feel free to lower onto the forearms. And then start to walk yourself up if you've lowered all the way down. And heel toe that right foot out slightly, and just start to peel the inside edge open. So you're allowing your right knee to kind of drop open. And now start to twist towards that leg. And you'll feel that sinking of the left side of the hip. Maybe a deep stretch in through your psoas, the front of your hip crease. And stay here with breath. If you want to find a stretch for the back leg, start to bend that back knee, maybe reach back for the foot. Now, if you're bending that back knee and your hips start to hike up, maybe you just leave your foot down or just bend enough that your hips don't start to lift up. You don't have to reach back for your foot. Just an option. And then gently start to release that back foot. Bring the right hand down to the inside of the right leg. And then tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Step your right foot back to a downward facing dog. On your next inhale breath, lift that right leg up into the air, three-legged down dog, and then bend the knee, open up the hip. Yeah, just feel what that feels like. And then slowly drop that leg down, back to downward facing dog. Walk your feet up to meet your hands. Just rest your upper body down onto your legs. And then heel toe your feet out about mat distance apart. We're going to play with that revolved forward fold again. This time we're going to start by bending our right leg, straightening through the left. Let's revolve open to the left side. Inhale. Exhale back through center. Let's inhale, open up to the right. Exhale down. Let's do that again. Inhale, let's open up. Exhale down. Awesome. Now with a giant step with the right leg this time, let's take it all the way to the back of our mat and then drop the knee down. Adjust your legs however you need to. Coming into our lizard lunge, option to stay onto the hands, or you can drop onto the elbows. For this lizard lunge, just keep that top knee squeezing in towards the shoulder. Keep your big toe pressed in towards the floor. And if you've come all the way down, gently lift yourself back up. And then start to heel toe that left leg out just slightly. And then peel the inside arch up off of your mat. Allow the knee to drop open. Allow your right hip to drop further towards the mat. Rest your left hand onto the thigh. If that feels okay. Just breathe here. Feel that deep stretch. And again, option to stay here if you want to find that little stretch in through the back leg. Just bring a bend into your back foot and reach for the back foot. Sorry, bend into the back knee, not the foot. And gently release that foot if you have it. Bring your left hand back down. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee, step back to a downward facing dog. Option to stay here. Take a three-legged down dog, lifting the left leg up into the air. And then bend the knee, open up the hip. Melt that right heel down towards the floor. And slowly make your way back to your downward facing dog. Bring your feet about hip distance apart and just start to walk your hands to the back of your mat. So we're walking our hands towards our feet this time. And from here, we're going to take a nice halfway lift. And then exhale, let's fold it all out. Slightly point your toes out to the side. Bend the knees, drop your hips towards the floor. Malasana. Bring your hands to heart center, elbows pressed against the inner thighs, inner knees. Take one last breath here. And then slowly drop your hands down to the floor, lift your hips up, and then walk your hands forward, coming back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels up high, coming onto the toes, and then float your knees down towards your mat. Sit your bum on your heels, and then sweep out your legs in front of you. Come to sit up at the top of your mat, and just start to lean your weight back. So really rounding through your spine, tuck your chin down towards your chest. And then start to turn on your core. Lift your hands away from the knees and curl your spine all the way down onto your back. Straighten the legs one at a time. And start to walk your feet towards the bottom right corner of your mat. And then Tuck your chin down towards your chest. Think of lifting your shoulders and then squaring your shoulders to the top right corner of your mat. So you're creating this banana shape or half moon shape with the body. Hands can just rest on your belly. If it's okay, maybe you take your arms overhead. Right hand can reach for left wrist, or you can reach for opposite elbows. And then I just like to cross that right leg over my left. So we're getting a nice deep stretch in through the whole left side of the body. Just spend some time here taking some deep breaths in and out through the nose. Really filling your belly and filling your lungs, and notice how that changes the sensation to the sides of the body. And just gently release the elbows if you have it, and uncross the legs. To come back through center, tuck your chin in towards your chest. Lift your shoulders to come back to neutral onto your mat, followed by your legs. And then we'll do that on the other side. So start with your legs first. Walk them over towards the left corner of your mat. Tuck your chin, lift your shoulders, and then square your shoulders to the top left. And then cross the ankles, maybe take your arms overhead. Take a few deep breaths in through the right side of the body. Last breath or two here. And then just start by releasing the arms, releasing the legs, and then tuck your chin in towards your chest. Bring your shoulders back to center, followed by your legs. And start to draw the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice little squeeze. An option to take happy baby here. So reaching for the inside or outside edge of your foot or the big toe. Knees come apart, and then lift the soles of your feet up to point towards the ceiling. Knees drop down towards the floor, and think of pressing your low back towards the floor. Gently release the feet back together and start to extend your legs towards the bottom of your mat. Just a slight tuck of the shoulder blades underneath you, and bring your hands to your belly. And just allow your right ear to fall towards the floor. And then slowly lift it back up to center and allow your left ear to fall towards the floor. Beautiful. Come back through center. And just take a few moments here to really settle into your body and just feel that relaxation coming into the legs, into the hips. Really preparing you for your evening to relax and get some really good sleep. So I invite you to just stay here for as long as you like, and as long as time allows you to. Sometimes I often find myself falling asleep in Shavasana and then waking up a couple hours later on the floor wondering where I am. So please feel free to just take some time for yourself. Just take some time for quiet and for stillness, because our days can be so busy. Thank you so much for practicing today. Namaste.